Hey Aries, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first cards that we have out are Ten of Wands and the Fool. In a way, I almost get the sense of you sort of stressing yourself out a bit or putting a lot on your plate before something has fully even gotten started. It feels like it's about to be the beginning of something unfolding, and you may have a very vast to-do list, but the thing hasn't even started yet. So this feels like some maybe intense preparation that's happening, but you could possibly be overdoing it a little bit. It feels like it's almost unnecessary to carry that energy in, and maybe part of what you're stepping into is about not doing that. Maybe like you're used to sort of putting things in overdrive. This is feeling like maybe that's something that's going to be shifted. That's something that's going to be changed a bit. Maybe there's a new way to do things. Maybe there's a better way to do things where that's not really involved, where it doesn't have to be so stressful, or it doesn't have to be so much. It doesn't have to be so intense and sort of stay like that. This feels like maybe there's a different way. Maybe there's a new way to be doing it where it just doesn't have to feel overloading. But there can possibly be taking a chance to do things in a different way. Ten of Wands is all of the stuff that you put on your plate, and it can feel like it's not, you can't really maintain that because it's a lot of energy output. The Fool is feeling like, hey, there's a different way to do this, and it doesn't have to be like that. But if you're going to switch things up, there can be what you see as being a bit of a risk involved. But it seems like it's worth finding out if you don't want it to be so intense. Like this just isn't super sustainable. You can know that where things have gotten now have really furthered themselves from a time when things were working a bit more harmoniously, and it feels like this is about rediscovering that presently. It feels like in order to like maintain things or keep things where they need to be, you can feel like it takes an exorbitant amount of energy to be able to do, but it shouldn't be taking that much, and it is not sustainable. This feels like something here needs to be looked into about maybe like even how things were working before, when it felt like there was more, I think like an interlacing when everything just functioned properly. You're gonna have to be open-minded for this. Yeah, when I see Ten of Wands and I see Six of Pentacles, this feels like being sort of at capacity and entering into a situation where what you get is maybe like just barely sustainable, and this can be something that you're looking into and you're like, I can't continue to do this. Like it can be what's being asked of you to contribute is just too much. What you're asking of yourself can feel like too much. It's not that you're not capable of it, it's that it's a lot to be doing, and you can be asking yourself if that's what you want to do. Like, do you have to constantly be filling your plate to maximum capacity to continue being involved in this, or can it be a different way? And is there stuff that can be worked with and stuff that can be learned? I think like stuff from past experiences that can be worked with, and I think wisdom that can be taken from that and intertwined into your current process to alleviate this. Because it feels like, what if you could get the same results doing not so much as you're doing now, but just shifting it and then things not being so stressful? Meaning, maybe there are two different options here, okay? One option is that in order to fulfill your side of the scale, okay, like the output that you need to give, you can have to take 100 rocks and climb it up to the top of the mountain, okay? And that's one way that you can sort of fulfill your end of things. Or you can collect 6 oranges and put them on a plate in front of you. It's like, which one of those, if both of them are going to be like fulfilling your side of things, which one of those are you going to choose? And it feels like you can choose something that's more sustainable, less exhausting, and it will also be like making good on what you need to be doing and showing up with. Yeah, this is just too much at this point, and this can be something that's fear-driven as well. It's like, it feels like something happened where maybe it wasn't always like 100 rocks up the hill. Like maybe it started off with carrying 4 and now it's just like become 100 rocks up the hill. And if you will open yourself up, it really feels like there are alternatives here that would work better for you and feel sustainable to you, where you can get that, where you can be fulfilling your end of things, and so that exchange can happen. So you show up with what you need, other side shows up, you have that exchange, it feels functional. There's a way to do this. There's an alternate way to do this, and it is possible. And it feels like opening yourself up to that possibility. Like it doesn't have to be like this, because it feels like this is not sustainable. 100 rocks up the hill is not sustainable, but there are other ways for you to be able to do this, to fulfill your end of things and get those results that you need, that are connected with you fulfilling what you need to fulfill, but an alternate route. And breaking out of that pattern and forging your way. Now, how do you do this exactly? The Fool is being clarified as the Empress, so this feels like there's a way for you to fulfill your end of things that feels more organic to you, that feels more natural to you, where you don't feel like you're reaching, you don't feel like you're overreaching. It just feels like naturally like what's available and what comes up. And this can be like natural skill sets that you have. It can be, again, like organically what is in that well that you have. Can be coming back to that and saying what's in there and looking at that, and that can be what comes of this. Feels in a way like something has been overproduced, and this can be bringing things back into a place that doesn't feel like that, in a place where it like comes back to maybe like the raw material or the raw potential of something, and then going from there. Like this feels very much like getting back to basics and then trying a different route. So it's like you're still working with the same basics that you were initially, but that sort of took its own path, and you can be at that point now where you're like, this is becoming too much, so you need to come all the way back to basics, start from there, and then like go a different way. And there are just like a million different routes that you can take. It just feels like gonna explore a different one this time. You're still working with those same basics, like the Venus energy doesn't change, but the way that you explore it, the way that you understand it, what you do with it can be the thing that feels inventive here. Ingenuity, creativity, and you being open-minded enough to connect with that and see that that's also a valid option as well too. And you can still accomplish what you want to accomplish. And it doesn't have to be this hard to sustain things. There can also be more of a need to collaborate. That can be part of this as well. There's a need for collaboration. Yeah, I feel like so much energy being put into trying to recreate something that there can be less energy put into it, and it can create what you want, but you just need to do it a different way. Like a different method can be used that's not going to feel so like such an intense exertion of your energy. And that it's going to be like injecting some type of newness to this already existing system. For some of you, this can be something like a relationship, or it can be a household thing, or it can be a job situation. So many different things that this can be. But it feels like taking this sort of already existing system, and you need to inject it with something that's going to open it up. And this can be something that's a group effort. For some of you, it's not just you that's working within this process, and you're gonna have to open up and be collaborative here with this and put the energy into collaboration in order to see what you can sort of get out of that, like what that can produce. And it also feels like tuning in and learning, what do you need now? What do I need now? What does this need now? Like take the temperature currently and check in. Because I almost get this, you know how there can be like a migration happening? Maybe initially things were in one place and stuff was worked out, and a migration has happened in some way. And so there's a needing to like check in currently with the present times of what's needed here for things to work. And saying like, I need to look at it now, not just like what it was before. I need to see what's needed now, not just what was needed before. I need to see how this works now, not just what was sustainable before, because it feels like something has shifted. And so you need to catch up into the present moment in order to accurately see this, in order to then accurately assess and then accurately work this. Because this does feel like a workable situation. It feels like going into a situation that is not an unfamiliar situation, but going into it with like new eyes as if it is, and treating it like that, like without the assumptions, without the like, well, it's been like this, so I don't need to think about that anymore. When it's like, if you were looking at it, you'd see you need to do something different here. It's that type of thing with the energy. Saying like maybe something can work better. Maybe different needs need to be met. Maybe I need to show up differently. Maybe I need something differently. Maybe the other side does. Because I'm seeing a desire to want to be in this and workshop this. But if you workshop it with like all of your assumptions and like, I'm so familiar with this, you know, when you see something all the time, you like stop seeing it and it just becomes that like representation of like associations that you have with something. Like you stop seeing the shell of it. It feels like needing to enter into this situation, which again is a familiar situation. It's not a new situation you're going into. This is a familiar situation that you're going into, but you need to approach it as if it's a new situation so you can truly see what's going on. And that clarity of vision is going to help you see possibilities that you weren't seeing before, help you problem solve, help you work together, help things go in the direction that you want them to go in. And it's not going to feel like such a labor. Because right now it feels like, I don't know how sustainable this is. Moving to a place of things actually feeling sustainable, like the way that you know they're supposed to be, and that will reinstate the harmony and the balance within this. And that's the move that's being made. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.